You know, compared to most other Disney movies, I barely saw any marketing for this one. That's weird. I like that teaser trailer though. Strange World. That's how the teaser trailer said it. That was cool. So Strange World is the newest movie from Walt Disney Animation Studios. And how to describe this one? We have a farmer named Searcher Clade. He's voiced by Jake Gyllenhaal. He's called for a mission because the source of power that powers the village he lives in is under attack. And the source of this problem has been traced to this underground world that no one's ever seen before, and it's all weird and fantastical. So it's pretty much Disney's version of Journey to the Center of the Earth. And Searcher's son comes along. Searcher runs into his long-lost father. And now we have our movie, which I guess if you can tell from my general demeanor right now, I thought this movie was really mediocre. Which is a bummer because, again, this is Walt Disney Animation Studios. I'm usually a pretty big fan of these guys. I mean, their last movie was Encanto, which was awesome. I love that movie. And this is their follow-up? First off, the characters. The characters are fine for the most part. Searcher, yeah, his name is Searcher. There's actually kind of a reason for that they explain in the movie. But I do like him as a character because he's trying to learn from the mistakes that his father made. When he's interacting with his son, he kind of realizes that he's channeling the same mistakes that his father made. This movie really is about generations from father to son, and Yeager Clade is voiced by Dennis Quaid, and he was really cool because he's kind of a dick. He's the big, brutish explorer type. He kind of reminded me of the dad from Brave, without the heavy Scottish accent. But he's like, no, son, you're gonna be like me. You're gonna be an explorer. And Searcher's like, I don't want to be an explorer. I don't want to be like you. I want to be a farmer. So we have those conflicts going on between father and son in this movie. I thought that was handled pretty well until it got heavy-handed. I'll get to that later. And then there's Searcher's son, Ethan, which, yeah, I will mention this movie is a huge step forward for Disney in terms of representation. Ethan is gay. They show that in this movie. I was like, cool. Because we all know Disney Animation is the one that's kind of steered from that the most. Because these are the kid-friendly family movies. I imagine this movie's going to be banned in China as well. But I'll say good for Disney. Although this is not their very first animated gay character. Because we know the Owl House, because it's awesome. But other than the representation, I will say everything in this movie we've seen before. I've seen it all before, you've seen it all before. Like I said, it's basically Journey to the Center of the Earth. Which even that had a unique title, Strange World. Talk about generic. I even saw this in 3D, couldn't save it. There's a little cutesy creature they meet, because of course it's a Disney movie, you gotta have your little cute creature so it can be merchandise, which actually they make a joke about that in this movie, that was pretty funny. Doesn't keep it from being true though. I do like the visuals though. I mean, this being Disney Animation, there's gonna be some pretty cool stuff to see at times. And all the weird creatures and the landscapes, yeah, they do look really cool. They remind me of Yellow Submarine, or Hollow Earth and Godzilla vs. Kong. Everything just looks kind of weird, everything's alive, and I like seeing how this world works. But then that awe and wonder kind of wears off, and you're left with the story, which is pretty formulaic. Granted, I'm speaking from my perspective. I'm in my late 20s, I've seen a lot of movies. I'm sure this particular Disney movie is not aimed at my demographic, it's aimed for kids. So yeah, if you have kids, take them to see it, they'll love it. It's a good family movie to see with your young kids on Thanksgiving weekend. But if you're not a kid or you're not a parent, then don't see this movie because you'll probably be bored. Because I was bored, this movie bored me. I was sitting there in my theater seat watching this animated movie play out like I knew it was gonna play out. I was like, let me guess, this is gonna happen with the family dynamic. Yeah, I was right. Granted, that's how most Disney animated movies are. They're all formulaic. But take Encanto for example. You more or less knew how it was gonna play out before the end of the movie. But we still had lovable characters, awesome songs, and we got to see a really cool culture. I don't mean to compare this movie to Encanto, I know that's not quite fair. I'm mostly doing it to say that this movie is a lot less subtle in its message than Encanto was, for example. Strange World kind of beats you over the head with its family message. At a point I was like, alright, I get it. Yeah, it got a bit preachy. Another flaw this movie has is that it whizzes through its story, it rushes. It does that transgression that I've pointed out a few times, where when there's a dramatic scene, it doesn't really take that pause to let the drama sink in. No, it just goes forward, it just goes through the motions. And it transitions with these really fast wipes, which at first I was like, alright, that's kinda cool. Kinda harkening back to those old school adventure style movies and shows of the 50s, which I get that this whole movie's trying to be like that. You can tell from the teaser trailer. But at a point I was like, alright, I'm not really feeling the drama because the movie won't let me, because it's going so fast. That was really the biggest thing that had me feeling nothing after the movie was over. I felt nothing because the movie wouldn't let me feel anything. Which sounds harsh, but that's my honest opinion. So the movie's going on with its formulaic plot and rushed drama, But then it does get to a twist, there is a plot twist, and I thought this plot twist was actually pretty cool. I was like, alright, I did not see that coming, I like it. It did save the movie from getting my worst rating. Because the twist in the movie, I'm not going to give it away, of course, but I could tell whoever wrote this movie kind of pulled inspiration from lore that actually exists, like in the real world. Like, I've heard of this legend before. I think it's a pretty cool legend. Obviously, I don't think it's true, but to see it kind of brought to life, or at least animated life, on the big screen, I thought that was really neat. So I will give props to that. And the music, Henry Jackman did the score for this one. He wrote the scores for Big Hero 6 and the Wreck-It Ralph movies. And I'll say it's pretty orchestral. This is like the least electronic sounding score I've heard from Jackman. And it turns out he's pretty good with an orchestra. Yeah, the music I thought was pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna get the soundtrack, but it did its job for the movie. But in the end, Strange World, like I said, mediocre. I don't know, man, I just felt like this was a miss for Disney. But like I said, maybe it's a demographic thing. This movie might only be going for the small kid demographic. And I'm sure they will like this movie. Like, if this movie came out while I was in middle school, I'd probably love it. But with a studio that it's known for its family movies that the entire family will enjoy, for the young as well as the young at heart, for them to release a movie not in that category, I just find that jarring. Granted, this isn't the first time they've done that. Like, I'll say, The Little Mermaid is only meant for little girls. No one else. I'm not a huge fan of the movie. Don't kill me. But it did its job at being a great movie for little girls, because it's considered a classic. Strange World might be like that. This movie is really only meant for little kids. Little kids will like the movie. But if you're not a kid or a parent, then for Strange World, I will say, wait until you can stream this movie online. I imagine it'll be on Disney Plus within a few months. Watch it then. So Strange World, have you seen it? What are your thoughts on it? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm heading to a Friendsgiving dinner tonight with the guys. And I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving 2022. Peace!